Hi, and welcome back to Free for All Friday. Talk about anything you want. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Not absolutely anything you want. Anything that's been in the news in this past week. Now, President Obama gave this speech at West Point on Wednesday. We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday, played a soundbite. And everybody was anticipating he was going to lay out the Obama doctrine. We were going to have a good, clear understanding of what his foreign policy was. He was going to lay it out for everybody. And he got done, and it just laid there like a nothing burger. Nobody was inspired. Nobody was motivated. Nobody clapped. Nobody even understood exactly what he was saying. It was just a classic case of, on the one hand, we got to do this, but on the other hand, we can't do that. He didn't stake out any kind of clarity in his position. So Steve Inskeep with NPR, this is clip 7, Steve Inskeep is talking to Obama, interviewing him, and he says, look, you think about Ronald Reagan, you can kind of sum up his foreign policy in one sentence. You think about Abraham Lincoln, you can kind of sum up his policy in one sentence. So help us, President Obama, sum up your policy in one sentence. Here's how their exchange went.
I want to begin this way. You're here at this historic place, trying to speak with a sense of history. And I was thinking of past presidents that I know you have studied and commented on. And a couple came to mind who were able to express what they were trying to do in the world in about a sentence. Reagan wanted to roll back communism by whatever means. Lincoln has a famous letter in which he says, I would save the Union by the shortest means under the Constitution. As you look at the moment of history that you occupy, do you think you can put into a sentence what you were trying to accomplish in the world?
I'm not sure I can do it in a sentence because we're fortunate in many ways. We don't face an existential crisis. We don't face a civil war. We don't face a Soviet Union that is trying to rally a bloc of countries and that could threaten our way of life. Instead, what we have is, as I say in the speech, this moment in which we are incredibly fortunate to have a strong economy that is getting stronger, no military peer that threatens us, no nation state that anytime soon intends to go to war with us. But we have a world order that is changing very rapidly. And that can generate diffuse threats, all of which we have to deal with.
You know, you think through that paragraph, and there's just nothing there. What is your policy? And he admits, I'm not sure I can do it in a sentence. I can't summarize it in a sentence. Reagan, it was stop communism. With Abraham Lincoln, it was preserve the Union. President Obama, I can't summarize it in a single sentence. He doesn't have a policy. That's kind of the problem. He doesn't really have any kind of coherent policy. And he even, in this paragraph, this is a simple untruth. He says, we are incredibly fortunate to have a strong economy that is getting stronger. That's absolute balderdash. Drudge has got a story today. 1 out of 6 men between the ages of 25 and 54 is not working. 1 out of every 6 male between the ages of 25 and 54 is not working. Ladies and gentlemen, this is catastrophic. These are guys that are supposed to be husbands. They're supposed to be providing for their wives. They're supposed to be fathers, providing for their children. 1 in 6 of them is not working. This is catastrophic to our culture. It's catastrophic to families, catastrophic to children. And so we don't have a strong economy. In fact, they've redone the figures, and our economy actually shrank last quarter. It actually is smaller, our economy. We're just so used to thinking of an economy as something that relentlessly expands, and it should. If it wasn't for government regulation, these misguided policies and the tax burden, our economy would be exploding because of the talent and the innovation and the drive and the determination of the American people. But every time they try to move forward, there's another roadblock in their way. There's another hurdle they have to clear. There's another weight they've got to throw in their backpack. And so consequently, the economy is now actually shrinking. So President Obama doesn't really have a foreign policy anybody can put his finger on. One last clip. Let's play this before we go to the phones, if we can, Rob. Clip number 8. This is Howard Dean. Now, you and I just heard President Obama try to lay out his foreign policy, and we have no idea what it is. We have a world order that's changing rapidly and that can generate diffuse threats, all of which we have to deal with. Well, what's there? There's nothing there. Now, here is Howard Dean's explanation. The problem is not that President Obama is not clear and doesn't have a well-defined foreign policy. The problem is that the American people are simply too dull to understand and grasp his brilliance.
I think that's right. I think actually that's the problem. The problem here is not the president, it's the media. The media doesn't know how to deal with the more sophisticated foreign policy. I happened to be driving from Vermont to New York yesterday. I listened to the whole speech on the radio. I thought it was a good speech.
So that's Howard Dean. The problem is that President Obama is just so intellectually advanced. He is such an enlightened being that the media, as smart as they are, just can't keep up with him. He's just light years beyond us. And even the media isn't smart enough to figure out his foreign policy because it is so sophisticated. It's so far advanced. It's so far beyond even the intellectual capacity of the media, let alone the American people. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Cynthia, Palestine, Texas. Cynthia, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, there's so much. 'Cause just right there on that 10-minute, oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, I want to say that Obama, if you're born a Muslim, your father's a Muslim, you must be a Muslim. So they're using the enemies to kill the enemies. Well, anyway, the VA, if I recall, even back to the 1970s was messed up. And I ain't giving him a pass by all means. But it's been messed up like this for so long. And also, oh, my word, I forgot because there's so much mess out there.
It's a target-rich environment out there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Okay, I know. I remember now. Okay, where's the money going for Solyndra? All this money poured into all these things that's not, come about, and including this Obamacare network, billions of dollars. Where is it going?
Well, and I'll tell you, Cynthia, that's going to be one of the scandals of the century is that money has just disappeared into the pockets of President Obama's friends. Solyndra, that money is spent. That money is gone. There's no product. It hasn't produced anything. It hasn't made anything. Well, somebody got that $529 million. It's disappeared. Somebody's got it. And we know that the main financial guru with Solyndra, the guy at the top of the pyramid, was an Obama bundler. He was a guy that donated money to Obama and gathered money from his friends to donate to Obama's campaign. So it was just political payback. President Obama actually doesn't care that Solyndra didn't produce anything. He's just paying back a buddy to the tune of $529 million for helping him with his campaign. You go to Oregon, Cynthia, you look at Oregon, they spent $305 million on their health care exchange, and they flushed it all. It's all gone. Well, that money was spent. Checks were written that went to somebody. They went to Oracle. They went to other people. So somebody's got that money. It's in somebody's pocket.
Right on.
And the people have nothing to show for it. Nevada, they just spent $91 million on theirs, and they've dumped it. They've trashed it. Maryland is trashing theirs. So all the millions and millions and millions of dollars, Cynthia, and nobody knows who's got it, where it went, but it went into the pockets of friends of liberals. That's the thing you can be sure of.
Well, it's time to put him out to pasture come November, I hope.
Well, we won't be able to do that with President Obama, but one of the things we can do is you get a conservative Senate in there, you might be able to serve as a check on President Obama, but you got to have control of the Senate to be able to do that. One of the races, by the way, that's critical in terms of taking over of the Senate is taking place in Mississippi. Got a primary election on Tuesday. The challenger, Chris McDaniel, Tea Party favorite, state senator going up against the incumbent Thad Cochran. That's a huge race, tremendous amount of national attention right now. And we will have Senator McDaniel on in this next hour at, I believe, 2:15. We'll have Senator McDaniel on to talk about his race with Senator Cochran. We invited Senator Cochran to come on the program He did not respond. All right, thank you, Cynthia. Let's go quickly to Stephen, Houston, Texas. Stephen, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, listen, I'm just passing through Houston. First-time listener, and I wanted to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I don't know who you are, what your name is, but that your ignorance and your snark and your sarcasm, your slander, and the absolute repugnance of your views, I've never actually heard anything like it. I wanted to share my great disapproval of the things that you're saying and of the way that you're saying them.
All right, Stephen, well, let me ask you, just pick one thing I've said that you find repugnant.
You're talking about Obama, whether he cares for things. You're ascribing motives to him, like just what you were just saying while I was holding about Solyndra, and that he doesn't care where the money went. That was a business venture that went bad. How do you know whether he cares or not? You were making the same kind of...
Well, Stephen, let me ask this question. We're getting short on time here, but we've got a Christian pastor that's imprisoned in Iraq, I think I said Iraq. It's in Iran. What has President Obama done, to your knowledge, to get him out of that hellhole of an Iranian prison?
Obama has done a lot.
What's he done? What's he done? Okay, no, Stephen, Stephen, hold it. Stephen, I'm asking you about Pastor Saeed Abedini in an Iranian hellhole of a prison. What has President Obama done to show that he cares for him?
I'm calling to express my disapproval of the things you're saying. You haven't mentioned him in the part that I heard.
Well, Stephen, hold it. Okay, so I'm giving you an opportunity to prove me wrong by proving to me how much President Obama cares. I'm giving you a chance to do it, and you're unable to come up with anything.
I've heard the president of my country make many statements about things he cares about, and you're saying he doesn't care, and you're not talking about the pastor in Iran. You're talking about Solyndra.
All right, Stephen, listen, we are out of time. Hate to cut you off. End of the hour, heart break, back after the news.